Entrepreneur's Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, so the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, and how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneur's Enigma. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. I am your host with the mostest, Seth. Today I have a good buddy of mine. I've known Jedi for, I think, 15 years or some insane amount of time. He is a local entrepreneur to the Philadelphia area. He has even comes with a tagline. How about that? It saves me on trying to figure out a title for this guy. Empowering entrepreneurship through technology and education. So Jedi, when we first met, was running a company called Web Junto. And that's why I learned the word Junto. Hence the reason why I'm using Junto for marketing Junto, the newsletter, because I like the name. It's a Ben Franklin reference. It's Philadelphia. It makes perfect sense. So thank you, Jedi, for the education on that. He runs two companies right now. One's more the parent company of the other one, but enough to talk about both here. Open Forge and Startup Wars. Startup Wars is a simulation it's kind of teaching kids and students how to do a startup before they actually have to do a startup. So it's kind of educate them on it a little bit, which is kind of nice. He is a mentor for the Founders Institute, Philly Startup Leaders. He is a Drexel grad, so he is helping out Drexel a lot and Temple University, and he has helped Youth Hack in the past at the University of Pennsylvania. Jedi, how's it going, buddy?
Going fantastic, Seth. Good to see you. And hey,
it's always fun, buddy. It's always fun with you.
It's a good time. I didn't actually realize that that the Junto, because that was like 15 years ago almost. I mean, yeah, that's crazy, man. That's really cool.
It was a long time ago. Back at the Philly Cohab, Sohatch, wherever that had the co-working space was.
City Coho.
City Coho. I'm not sure they're still in business anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. I mean, so much changed since the pandemic, but
everything's changed. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jedi is calling in from his office where he has a physical background.
Oh,
yeah. I like to highlight that that's an actual background. He took the effort to put in an actual background just for the show. So I appreciate that, buddy. He put all the books up just for the show. He's tearing it down afterwards. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, definitely. And if anyone hasn't seen these things before, these are called books. They're what we used to read. So
they're made out of dead trees.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I got a bunch of them behind me too. So there you go. So
yeah.
So Jedi, how did this all get started? I mean, like, you don't have to go back to your childhood unless you want to, but I mean, like, how did you first get interested in technology? I mean, because you're a little bit younger than me, but not too much younger than me, so you kind of remember you're a digital transplant, not as much of a digital native. So
yeah. I mean, I actually got into technology through gaming, believe it or not. Actually, my whole career was actually based upon gaming. Do you remember the old video game Tribes 2?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you remember, like, you used to have a like HTML and CSS background in order to build a clan page in Tribes 2, because they didn't have sophisticated.
It was like MySpace kind of only a game, because like MySpace, that's where you first learned CSS. Was if you want to make anything in it was like, if you look at this now, it's like it's out of the box. You get a social network. No, MySpace and Tribes 2 was all about, like, you need to know a little coding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, so basically, I learned. I was a kid at the time. I learned, how to code just from, like, the video games, because every kid is interested in something. A lot of kids are interested in video games. Yeah,
my kid's doing right now with Roblox. He's coding up Roblox games because he wants to know how to do it, and he's becoming a coder now. He's like, I'm not asking me, like, "Hey, Daddy, how do I do this?" I'm like, I can't read that code.
Yeah. Well, it's actually really fascinating. I think we're going to see a lot of, like, the younger generation, having programming skills. I mean, even with chat like ChatGPT, AI, all these things coming up that make it easier to do certain things. I mean, it makes it easier, but you still have to put that high level thought together. So I think we're going to see more of this.
If you don't, like, write me a 300-word essay on food.
Yeah,
it's not going to give you a good answer.
Yeah, exactly. But the cool thing with coding is that like, there's defined best practices in each of the coding languages, and
Yeah,
so ChatGPT knows what those are, instantly. So when you ask a
yeah.
question like, okay, create me a function that can calculate the tax rate of something, right?
He will
Well,
do
it
it right.
can do that,
Yeah.
that piece perfectly, and there's not a lot of concern for, for like
Yeah.
the legal side of that when you're doing these bare minimum functions, because
I
it's
did something
public
small.
domain.
Oh, that's what I did with WordPress. I couldn't find a plugin that I wanted. I didn't find an updated plugin for making all external links go target blank. Go to a
Yeah. Okay.
separate. And so I asked ChatGPT, and it did it for me, and
Yep.
then told me where to put it.
Yeah.
Like out of station, I was like, dude, or it, way to go. But then I tried to
Yeah.
have it make me told it to do something more advanced. It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, here's some references for you to go look. I'm like, well, it's just helpful. But I was like, you're not going to do it for me? It's like, no.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, we digress.
We digress, but we're good at that. So you went to Drexel
Yeah.
and CS, BS, BS, and CS.
Yep. Yeah.
A
Yep. Exactly.
BS, a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, and then you say you did a computer engineering minor, as if you didn't have enough gearheadedness in the major.
Yeah. Well, it's actually I was computer science major, and then I also specialized in artificial intelligence as
Back
like part of like a
then,
minor. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, actually, like these books are actually AI related, but
that's
yeah,
wild.
I don't do a ton of that anymore. It's just more like a passion hobby.
Yeah,
But yeah, man. Yeah, I basically I started out as a kid, getting excited about technology, through gaming, and I felt that was a great way to learn. So going to college, I went to for computer science. That was a great way to, get a job, right, and figure out what
yeah.
I want to do. And then,
Did you
yeah,
ever
when
get a job, or did you immediately jump into or your own thing?
I did get a job. It did, I had a couple actually. It worked well, I think, from the employer's perspective, but I was bored senseless. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
never meant for, working in an enterprise
Oh,
situation,
it sounds awful. Corporates, it takes a special person. There's not many people that can do corporate successfully, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also like climbing the ladder is not something I'm interested in. I'd much rather just build my own ladder, right?
Exactly. I
So,
like to build your own ladder. I love that.
yeah.
So, so you did the corporate grind for a little bit,
hmm
and you didn't like it. They loved you, I'm sure, because your head and does great work, but you're like, corporate, too political, I'm sure, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And you're
Oh
too
yeah.
friendly for corporate. That's the problem. Like you're not ruthless.
Yeah.
Like you have to be
Too big of a
ruthless.
smile, right?
You got a big, if anyone's watching the video, Jedi has like the biggest smile. I mean, I have a big smile. Jedi is known for his huge smile. It lights up a room and he's always smiling.
Yeah.
Not good for corporate.
Yeah.
Not good for corporate. Why are you smiling? We're down 15 points on the stop price. Because I'm happy I'm here. No, it doesn't work that
Yeah.
way. So you left corporate and then you started up Web Junto
Yep. I started
with
my
Liz.
first. Well, actually, first I actually went out to the West Coast and I
Oh
worked
yeah.
for a startup out there. That startup was,
Foreshadow.
yeah. That startup failed miserably. It actually was like a Tinder swindler type situation
Oh.
where the founder fled the country and everything. Absolutely crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, and that's a whole story on its own. We only had time for it, but yeah, like needless to say, like he ripped off myself, our investors, and that kind of thing. And
And that's how you cut your teeth in the startup world. Everyone has to get taken
yeah,
for something at some point. It's unfortunate.
yeah, that's a good point. It taught me a lot, and
Mhm.
I got to learn a lot, from working out, out there about,
Yeah.
just like Silicon Valley and startup industry. So
Yeah.
it was a helpful experience in many ways. I mean, sometimes the best way to learn is to get burned and then figure out what hurts, right? So I figured out what I
Exactly.
didn't want to do, and then yeah, I started my first business, Web Junto, with Liz. That went really, really well. We built it up to a multi-million dollar business,
Yeah.
and then yeah, when me and Liz split, I took over operations under OpenForge.
Yeah.
Took and that went fantastic. We still have OpenForge to this day, and build mobile applications. and it's
That's
been
wild.
great. Yeah.
And then you of course, you're not satisfied with just one project. I mean, I'm joking and kind of being sarcastic about it,
Yeah.
but I'm like the ultimate person who was like 5 projects, how they sleep kind of thing. But like you're not doing Startup Wars, which is really cool. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess I'll rewind for a second just to
Yeah,
talk about the transition, because I think if any founders out there have a services company, there's often you'll see like founders of services companies, it's relatively easy to make money in a services company, but it's not scalable. It's not like a very scalable business, and a lot of founders, like find that after a while. So basically what happened was me and the team, we got together at one of our company retreats with OpenForge, and we took a look at our books, we took a look at our pipeline, we took a look at our
mhm,
vision. And we said, hey, well, hey, things are going really, really well. We're making our customers a ton of money, right? And this is in the mobile app industry, the mobile app
yeah,
space. And this is fantastic, but how do we scale it, right? And what do we want to do next? And so the team, we decided as a group, we said, we know what? We had been doing the Philadelphia Junto. We had
yeah,
been piloting out this idea of Startup Wars, like a game to teach people about entrepreneurship and how to start a
yeah,
business. And we said, you know what? Why don't we just create this? Like, why don't we do it? It doesn't seem to be competing with any of our current customers.
yeah,
It's a game, and typically we do, like enterprise, HIPAA compliant applications, that kind of
yeah,
thing. So it just seemed like a win, and so we took that leap,
mhm.
and we had a big roller coaster along the way.
Oh,
So
you have to. It's entrepreneurial enigma, right?
exactly, right? Yeah. So
And the
yeah.
Star
So
Wars it's a simulator essentially. It's teaching people how to do a startup with less risk,
uh,
essentially.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So like you said, it's a simulation platform for entrepreneurship. For basically what we do is we take different types of businesses, like a restaurant, a food truck, a services company, a tech company, and we put them inside an actual gameplay setting for students who are trying to learn how to create their own business, so they can learn by doing. Because
And
typically
not
what you,
scr and screw up carefully.
yeah, oh yeah,
I
oh
wish
yeah.
I wish I was around when I was starting my business.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, it's actually been crazy because when we took a look at the space, we didn't really see anything that had education at the forefront. We saw games. There was a ton of startup games,
Yeah.
right? But they're going to be games where like you just click a bunch of times, right? Okay, hey, I can now win, right?
Was
Um,
it called Chorecore? Something like that?
yeah,
Yeah,
there's that.
chore games where you kinda like you run a restaurant and you click, you have to go get the this, there.
Yep.
It's nothing you don't see the books.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see the books, it's not scheduled or structured from a learning objective perspective.
Mhm.
There's a lot that goes into the curriculums that, higher education and high schools create, for students that just doesn't exist in the current, gaming industry. So basically what we've done is we said, okay, let's take some of the best practices of the gaming industry and some of the best practices of the
Love it.
education industry, combine them together.
That's sweet.
And yeah, and it's been working out really well, actually.
Yeah. Well,
So
hey,
yeah,
you're onto something. Exactly.
yeah, yeah, we definitely are.
Your little sub startup is blossoming. We're gonna take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Yeah, we've had I think close to 10,000 students now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
so
remember
that's
when you were just launching this sucker.
yeah, yeah. And the crazy part is we weren't even intending to go to ed tech first. We actually intended to go to consumer first. We built
Yeah,
this as a mobile app first.
yeah,
And then when COVID hit, the educators, they were saying, hey, we really need a way to engage, asynchronously, digitally
yeah,
online. So we said, all right, we can pivot, we'll try it out, but it was still a mobile app. And then finally, when we kind of got to the point where we kind of perfected the gameplay core loop,
yeah,
we were ready to be used in a couple big universities like Ohio State University,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden we realized, well, crap, when you have a state university wanting to use your actual product, there's a lot of restrictions and there's a lot
mhm.
of kind of like red tape, but important qualifications you have to hit. One of them was access for all the students. Now, what we
Oh,
didn't
right. 'Cause not
realize.
every student has this mobile phone.
Exactly. Yeah. Or,
Mhm.
so yeah, we found that maybe like 5% or less of the students, they weren't able to actually do the assignment, which at that point, was like extra credit assignment, so it's an
Yeah.
optional assignment.
But
But
still, if they want to
yeah,
do it.
exactly. So all of a sudden, we had to pivot the entire platform in order to, to like adhere to this new requirement by the customer base, and that was like a huge transition. Took us over a year to basically pivot from mobile to web fully.
That's
But
wild.
yeah, we were able to do it, and luckily we used. I know like, we build a lot of Ionic applications,
Yeah.
and so since we were using Ionic, it was already a PWA, a progressive web app out of the box, and so
Well, it's
we were
helpful.
able to, yeah, we were able to basically put the mobile view right on web, and then like it didn't look nice, it wasn't pretty,
But it
but
functions
students
while
could
you build
use
out
it.
the rest. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah,
I
so that,
like that. That's thinking outside the box. It's pivoting. That's growing. It's feeling
yeah,
fast. Succeeding fast. All that good stuff. And that's the key. So here's a
yep.
question for you. What is the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind?
I think it's the freedom to create and inspire. I mean, like when I see, well, from a creation standpoint, like for just, me personally, I mean, I love the freedom of it, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. I mean, you've had your business for years.
Yeah.
We sometimes we're there 16 hours a day on the weekends, we're called. It doesn't matter. You have to be there. But the cool part is just being able to to kind of have a vision and just build it,
Mhm.
build something new, especially something that impacts people in a positive way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I always tell people I don't have the cure for cancer. I don't have
Nope.
the solution to global warming. But if I can help a student who does, is an engineer or
Mhm.
is, doing those things, if I can help them be a better business person, right, and
Yeah.
understand these mechanics about launching their business, then hey, we've helped them,
I
save the
love it.
world to do something
I love it.
else, So yeah.
So what's the scariest thing? What keeps you up at night?
Oh, the anxiety, man. Definitely the anxiety. Yeah, not knowing like, hey, what's going to happen tomorrow? Is something going to go wrong in the next build? Like,
Did
have
you
we hit
back
the
it up
right?
first? All that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Did we hit the correct demographic? Does the demographic respond in the right way? Yeah, I always tell people, and I always give this advice, which is as you're building out your product or even before you're building it out, you should really try to create a community around what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? And so that helps to offset that risk a little bit. But even when you do create a community, right, how they end up using it is probably
Yeah.
going to be a little bit different in practice than when you're like surveying them, when you're talking with them.
Mhm.
And so that can cause challenges as well. So yeah, I'd say just the anxiety of the unknown.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what's the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Carry with you all the time. Ooh, that's a good question.
Isn't that a good one?
Um, I would say I think having some stability in your
Mhm.
life, like because you're talking as an entrepreneur, right?
As an entrepreneur, as yourself,
Yeah,
what's important to you to carry? Yeah.
yeah. I think carrying stability behind the scenes is really important. I
Mhm.
was actually just talking with my wife Madonna about this. We had a really good conversation about this. The like when you're in a corporate job, right, or when you're just in a job, things are laid out for you. When you go to work, you generally know what to expect. Now, maybe in the
Yeah.
day-to-day operations, like
Yeah.
okay, surprises come up and X, Y, Z, but
Mhm.
someone has laid the vision out for you, right? And entrepreneurship is different. You're paving the path, and no one can see more than 5 feet in front of them. And so that creates so much instability there, which leads to the anxiety. I find that it's really important to have a lot of stability at home,
Yeah, it
right?
helps.
Yeah, because that way when you go home, it's not as what do you call it? Like it's not like you're going from one unstable place to another unstable place.
Yeah, it doesn't
Um,
help. Exactly.
yeah, for me personally, I have a pretty regimented routine. I work out every day. Everything has like a time and a place. I try to structure stuff at home well, be well organized. It helps to kind of counteract the chaos at work.
Yeah, because
So
there's
that
no idea. Exactly. Work is chaotic. Home should be kind of zen.
yeah, yeah.
So Jedi, where can people find you online? Where's your big watering hole? LinkedIn?
Yeah, I'd say for content more related to like education and technology,
Mhm.
would be LinkedIn. For more like software and just technology,
Yeah.
would be Twitter. Yeah, or I
Or
guess
Meta
X. Oh,
or
sorry.
X or whatever the
Yeah,
hell you want
X
to call
now.
it
Yeah.
today. For
Yeah.
the artist formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what, it was so weird. Like the first morning I woke up, I didn't see that they had like rebranded. And so I just typed in Twitter on my phone to pull up the app. And then all I see is this X come up. And I'm like, did it get deleted? Like, what happened
No,
here?
but we can go into the whole nother story. We can go into branding apps and how you don't do it.
I know, yeah.
I mean, you're gonna
Yeah,
change the name, great. You lost all the equity in the branding name, whatever. But
yeah,
do
yeah.
it fully.
Yeah,
Don't have they still you go to twitter.com and it takes you that whatever. That's a whole
yeah.
nother story. So Jedi, thank you so much for being on the program. This has been so much fun. We'll have to do coffee in real life
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah,
This
that'll
has
be
been so much
great.
fun, buddy. I'm so glad I got you on.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. And yeah, feel free to, for anyone who's watching or listening, please reach out. Always happy to have a chat and give advice or receive advice, because I'm learning something new every day as well. So,
That's the key.
yeah,
Absolutely. We'll see everyone next time.
awesome. Thank you.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.